Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode from MVP Connect series. My name is Rashmita, and I am the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. This session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. But before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. I would now like to welcome Swami, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swami to begin the session. Let me bring him into the StreamYard. Hey, hi Swami.
Hey, hi Rashmita. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing good. How are you?
Great, pretty great. All excited, little nervous.
Awesome. As usual, you will rock, Swami. We all know. So
Uh,
over to you, and let me bring your screen
yes,
into the
please.
StreamYard. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Um, hey, guys. Thank you so much for joining this session. And here is my GitHub link. I will paste it here so you guys can watch and all the OpenAI series which I'm discussing. That code is available under the speaker series. Uh, Let me take 1 minute time to give you the resources. Then we can go ahead. So this is the second part. First part we did is this is the second and third and fourth, fifth and sixth is a mini microservice solution which will be developing using using different technologies. I'll give you the quick picture of that one also. But before that, let me set the context. What is that we are going to do today? So today's thing is a little bit of hands-on thing apart from what did we do in the studio. Okay, last time we spent quite a bit of time around the studio, uh, Azure OpenAI Studio, and we learned few of those prompt completions, and that was just like a tip of the iceberg. And now we are continuing our journey and do four flavors of this prompt engineering. So we'll do one prompt, simple prompt again there, and apart from that, what we will do is we'll try our own completions using the Postman. And then how can we do it using Python notebook? How can we do that using Python? And how can we do that in .NET 7 C Sharp? And in Python also we can use the OpenAI object, or we can do a request. We can use the request library to hit the endpoint. And again, technically it is like you're whether you're hitting with the Postman, how you do the call, it's just like that. Okay, so without further delay, let's jump in. So here is the key thing, our OpenAI Studio. Let's get back it. I really like. So, God, I'll submit it later. So let me open this studio. And again, anyone who's coming, uh, joining this session for the first time, I mean, the first session is already done. So here you can see that you can create the Azure OpenAI service over here, and you can see all these models and rest of the things. And let me come in here, and you can see that this is how the Azure AI Studio looks. So you can have the completions, chart completions, and here you can see the type of models which are available as of today. uh, you can see that uh, this this Code DaVinci and ChatGPT Turbo 3.5 Turbo, and Ada, Babbage, Curie, DaVinci, Text DaVinci 2, Text DaVinci 3 embedding, and similarity. There are a lot of models are there. And what model have deployed is I've deployed Text Babbage as well as the Text DaVinci. We'll be using the Text DaVinci. So in some of the parameters, I have, as I was mentioning in the previous episode, that the even though the parameters explicitly call it out as a model name, but technically they are asking this name, deployment name. Okay, we'll see that in a minute. Let me quickly come back here to start playing around. So we'll take the same two inputs, what I wanted to give it here. Uh, so the first is this one. I'm giving inputs, and okay. So never mind. I mean, don't mind that I'm seeing this head because I'm playing it in on my mobile to see if at all I'm having a query I need to answer. So uh, I'll be switching left, right, and center. So see this. I just played the simple prompt, which has got two different queries. So give me the list of states in India. It's giving me. And the second answer is what are the best places for vacation in Kerala. So even though we do plus or minus little bit of spelling mistake or grammatical mistake, it has got a lot of intelligence to go ahead and give us the correct answer. So because the tokens, I have a token uh, limit. So let me bump that up to 300, and let me kill this and ask it to regenerate. So by default, it took 35 tokens for that, and you can see that it is regenerating the content. And you can see that now the best places for vacation in Kerala is Munnar, Alapi, Wayanad, Kollam, and other places are there. And okay, this is a simple. You can see that I've been charged for 204 tokens. Okay, this is the basic thing which we have seen in the previous session also. Now I want to test this in multiple ways. So one of the first method to do it is through the Postman collection. So I have created the Postman collection, which is there in the repository. You guys will get it here if you go to this repo here under the Postman collection. You will have the environment as well as Postman. Okay, which I've given here in the documentation also. So what will be the environments you need to create? Okay, in the environment you will have this URL and the open API key that I left it blank. And let's come back and see the same thing whatever we have given in the Azure Studio, and it has charged 204 tokens. And here uh, I'm hitting that. So let's see that now it is making a REST call and it is being charged. You can see that the model, you're seeing it, and the object, and the text, we are seeing the answers. I mean the prompt and answers. We saw prompt over here and answer over here. And the finished reason is stop. So finished reason is stop means it is saying that I am good. I've completed everything. Suppose if we restrict the number of tokens or the maximum tokens it has to consider or consume, in that case you can see that the stop reason, the finish reason is length. So that means it says that it did not do the complete job because there was a restriction on max tokens. Now I bump this up to 200. I'll bump this up to 200 and again I'll execute it. And this time we should see the stop reason is the finish reason is stop. So that means it executed this completely and it has given the output. Okay, so the prompt engineering is, you should know that how to stop. Suppose if I want to stop as soon as I find Telangana, so I can specify that here and I can hit. So in this case what happened is, again the finish reason it says stop, that means I executed my job. But here we ask it to, we gave two prompts and asked it to give the output to us, but we said stop as soon as you find Telangana. So it stops. So if you don't want to be stopped at anything, you can prompt it as null. And another thing is we can do give me the top 5 breakfast items of Punjab. Okay, so it does search and it gave that in this. Suppose I want in JSON format. So we should try different options. Sometimes it doesn't give. So this prompt will be best suited when we try it over here. I mean, if you are using programmatically, this works pretty good. No harm in that, because that will be eventually used by some program. I'll show you the program how I'm using the OpenAI. Now see this type snack region, how beautiful it is, top 5 breakfast. I said that give me in JSON object. Imagine a scenario, you are running a hotel and want to create breakfast in that hotel, but you want to cover the entire region, the entire country. So different states, you can ask this prompt and get this and store it in the database. So at least you need to have a JSON object where you can go and get this information. Okay, so now the first thing is we saw this prompt in AI Studio, and we did the prompt from the Postman also. And while doing the Postman, we didn't look into the details, which we will come and look at it now. Okay, so what all the things which are very required for this, and how did I get this is what should be the this is what it should be the format of this input. Okay, so that also this Azure OpenAI Studio helped me out. There is a button view code over here. Just click on that. When you click on that, it gives you quite a few options. So either you want the JSON, or you want to do it in curl. Okay, so that is how the curl will be. Okay, if you want it in C#, if you want it in JSON, you can select those options. What happened to this? Why it's not giving me this option? Okay, so we can select those options. So one of those options will be this JSON. What happened to this? Tell me a joke on software. Okay, let's see that. Uh, okay. Um, let's come in here and come on. What happened to this today? Okay, I'll tell you how did I generate this. So I took this JSON and it created the JSON format. And other way you can find that is right from here. See this, the object which is going to create it. Here you have the engine. Here you have the prompt. So let's compare. You have the prompt. That's one JSON object. And here temperature. We have temperature. And here max tokens we have it, and we have top, and we have frequency penalty and presence penalty, best of, and none. So when to use best of is also, I think we discussed it, or else we can try that now also. Okay, that is one thing once we come in here. And another thing is, here itself in this dialog you will get the endpoint over here. You can see that the endpoint, it will give you the complete information. So what is the text davinci 003 dev 1? That's the deployment name which I've given. I've shown you, I told you that. And also the API version will be different, and we should not get confused with the API versions which it will show in the tree, in the row where the deployments are there. If you see that deployments over here, here it will show the model version. Uh, Here it shows the model version. We should not get confused with that, even though at some places it explicitly calls it out as model name or the deployment name, but technically it is the deployment name, and this should not be confused with the model version. So let me come back over here and click on this view code. Come on. Oh, what happened to this? Am I doing any mistake? No, I'm clicking it. It doesn't listen to me. Okay, now I'll compromise. So now the best of, we'll see that best of in a minute, but we see this endpoint. So the deployment, this is the key thing, and this one is the key, which is very important. Without this key, you'll not be able to hit it. So what did I do is, the first piece, the HTTPS one, I moved it to a variable inside this environment because I'm not showing it. That has got my key. And the completion model name I have parameterized. That's the text davinci 003 that we have seen here under the deployments. The text davinci 003. And the open API version is the version which you will see it here when you go to this completion models and click on the view code. You will see that at the end of this, it shows that 2022-12-01. Are we using the same model? Right. 2022-12-01. We are using the latest model, the latest version of the model. Okay. And the best of, okay, let's assume that we want to try another thing. Give me a single liner tweet for my 1001 dosa center. I'm fond of food, guys. So all my prompts will be on food only. uh, See this. Now what it does is, it says that 1001 dosas, and it gave some, and homemade spices, homemade spices with love. Something, I'm telling, some filmy dialogue. So now it gives us. So here what is happening is, it is creating its idea and it is giving us one line. Now what I am trying to do is, I'm telling that best of 5. So that means I'm telling that, hey, generate 5 different ideas and shoot me one. Now, now understand, guys, you will be charged for that. It's not for this 53 tokens. It is best of 5. That means internally it generates 5 of these, but it is giving the best one to us. So similarly, these kind of things, what we can do is in the prompts also, here in the prompts, we are saying that um, we are asking, it's not given, I'm sorry for the spelling. Give me a single line a tweet for my 1001 dosa center, homemade spices with love. And here also I can say that generate 5 and shoot me one. So it generates 5. But see this, the max tokens here for the same thing, it shows 53. But originally, as I was mentioning, it charges for the generation, how many items it is generating, not the one which it is, which we are seeing here on the screen. Okay. And top 5 we have seen, best of, and there is one more option called n. There's one more option called n. We'll try that. Let me beautify this. Okay, the beautify is done. So here what is happening is we are saying that, hey, you generate 5 item, best of 5. You generate 5 and give me 2. Now we are charged for this, and the charging of tokens is the one which you need to take care. You have to do a proper calculation, but what I'm telling is generate 10 and give me 5. So see this, it's doing a best job. When I go through this each and every suggestion or the output it is generating, it's real good. I mean, experience the deliciousness of homemade spices with love at 1001 dosa center, hashtag 1001 dosa center. So it's pretty much, we need to understand these internals or nitty gritties, like when should you use best of, and when do you want multiple inputs. So see this, imagine a scenario where you're finding the capital state of all the states in a country. So for these kind of things, it doesn't make sense for us to add best of, isn't it? No matter you say best of 1,000, but the capital state of some state is something like capital state of country is fixed until unless they change every day, which is unrealistic. So but these kind of ideas where you're asking like, give me the code to write a for loop to display two tables in different versions, like you say that sorting algorithm or different algorithms where we'll focus on big off and the space complexity and the time complexity perspective. We can tell that, hey, do a best of this and give me two out of those best algorithms. So in that scenarios, this will play a crucial role where you can generate best of n items and give me n minus x. So that's how it gives this one. Okay. So now let's see, one important point is the open API. This is very important. And the completion model is the deployment name, and version. We should not get confused with the model version. This is the API version. Okay. And somewhere in the authentication, we need to pass the token also. It is going. Now once we get this, you can play around to go get the code. See this, if you want to try that in go language, you need to do this. Okay. Now if you want to try in a different language, you can go and generate that in different languages. Okay, it's in Go. Suppose you want the curl, you can use this curl. Okay, similarly you want to do it in a rest sharp or something. Okay, like that you can do different items on this, so you will see those things. And the next point we will be discussing is, we have seen how to do this prompt completion in Studio, how to do it in Postman. Now we'll see that how to do it with the Python notebook. So again, in the Python notebook, I have given the code over here, and example.env file, where you'll use the deployment name and the base URL version and the API key. And you see this one, we are taking the OpenAI and request. So here please observe that I'm not using the OpenAI object to its fullest, which we will see it in the next episode. Here I'm using the request. That means some of the things I'm using the OpenAI one to get the base URL, the completion model, reading the .env file, and getting the OpenAI key, the version of that, and formulating the URL, and creating this prompt, and sending the prompt, and this one echo to true. That means what happens is, when we output the results of this, it will print the joke also. Joke in the sense, the prompt, whatever the prompt you gave, it will give you the prompt as well as the output. Okay, so here we are using the request object, this library, to post it, where we are sending the URL, the JSON data, and the headers, and we are retrieving the response. And from this completion, we are using the first choice and retrieving the text. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, see this, the tell me two jokes on intelligent people, that was the prompt. So if I make this as false, if I make this false, let me clear this, and if I execute it, so it directly gives me the output. It is not giving me the prompt which I have given it to it. So when you want to know what prompt you have given, you need to use this. You need to use uh, the echo, and this one is the dynamism. Okay, so let me see. So it gave these two jokes: computer go on a diet and change a light bulb. Let me clear that. And here you see different. So when you set the temperature to 0, that means you're asking it to stick to the game plan. So let's see, it has given this about a dog and a cat. And again, it is giving the same joke. So you're saying that the stick to one particular thing, where you don't need to uh, expand it. Where is the echo? Echo is here, we will see that. Search on the models and deprecated model, that is Chat GPT. Ours is Text DaVinci 003, GPT 3.5 models. Ours is Text 3. Okay, so this is the one. So text DaVinci 003. So before we do this, we need to understand like some of the very critical thing, like what is the max tokens we need to do when it was trained. We need to understand this one. And another thing which we were discussing was this point, that is where, okay, temperature. Okay, Tem- text 003. Okay, so here temperature parameter, so that shows how uh, uh, how creative it is. Okay, the temperature will vary. If it is 1, so that means what happens is it tries to bring in more creativity. Now the temperature is 0 towards 0, so that means it is sticking to the game plan. It's not trying to bring in more creativity. So either you can set 0 or 1, but you can try different options based on what you want. You want a specific sticking to the game plan and get the response, or you want more creativity and get different responses. Sometimes you need the temperature to be higher, like in this case. I Let's assume that every day I come to chat gpt and ask, hey, give me one joke on myself or something like that. So in that case it makes sense. You don't want to hear the same joke every day, isn't it? So you want more creativity. So in that case you'll make the temperature towards 1. Okay, 1 or whatever the number which best suits based on your use case. And when you want something very specific, then lower the temperature. Okay, that's the second thing. Now let me close this, and let me close this. And we have seen that. Okay, this is how the environment will look. I just masked this open API key. I will delete it because unknowingly I've exposed my open API key thrice while showing the previous demo. So I'll delete this model and deploy a new model. Okay, now we saw this one also. So what is very important is we need to have open API request and python.net that will read the env file. Okay, I've given a couple of references also. We'll do the pip install and we'll create an env file, this one, and we need to execute the python notebook. That is done. So now what we will do is we will go ahead and execute the Python program itself. Okay. So here you can see that these all the requirements which I moved in here. We have the complete documentation. We'll see that uh, what is that which is happening. And again, I'm telling that this particular sample which has been done in the Python notebook or the Python is we are using the request to call it. Okay, we are not using the AI object that we will see it in C sharp code. Okay, that we will see it in C sharp code, and I will show you something else after this. Pablo, yes, I'm a programmer. Unfortunately, can't see in the chat link you have shared. Which one, Edgar? You're asking about which URL? EDJAR, this name. You can post it. Hey, Pablo. Yes, I'm a programmer. Okay. Uh, apologize for my bad code if you didn't like. Okay, let's come back to this particular example. So first, what we will be doing is we will be creating a virtual environment. Let me come back here to the terminal. So the shortcut is control tilde, it's toggle, and I'll come in here, right mouse click on that, open in terminal. Why I was not seeing that comments here on my, now I'm seeing it. Elias, how to optimize cognitive search related unstructured document type to retrieve data to GPT model. Yeah, I'll take up this question. Uh, I don't know how is it, Elias, or your name. I'll take up this question for sure. I want to understand. That's a pretty good question. There are a couple of things I'll show you. We come in here. First thing is we need to create a virtual environment. So we do the pip install here. So it's already there. The second thing is we will come and create it. So which I've already created here. This is the completion model. So all I need to do is come in here and completion model env and scripts and activate. So I activated the virtual environment. Okay. Now if I do pip list, pip pip freeze. Why it's not working? Okay, I'm in. So let me see this. 1 second, just give me a minute. Uh, if I try to execute this, is it executing, or I will delete that? And oh, okay, it is giving me. I'll check that why I was not able to execute that command. But if you see that in the completion model, this is the uh, this is the prompt which we are sending, and we have a flexibility to change the prompt also. So let's make the dosa example. We'll come in here and use this. Okay, now if I execute it, um,
Hey Swami, sorry, can you zoom in a
yeah,
bit because I think people are having little issue with the screen right now. They can't see it properly.
okay. Now is it much any better?
I think this should be fine.
Okay, cool, cool. So this is the prompt, but as I was mentioning, at both the programming thing, either from the Python notebook or from Python file, both we are executing using the request library. We are not utilizing the AI object to the fullest. Okay, that we will see in the C sharp code. So here, couple of things. So from the dependency perspective, okay, from the dependency perspective, we are using, this is a simple console application, .NET 7. We can make it into .NET 8 also. That's not a big problem. And OpenAI version, let's take a little bit risk. Um, it's not any risk. It's just to update this OpenAI model. Or let me stick to the gameplay. I don't want to spoil the demo. Okay, so .NET 7 is here, and we installed Azure AI OpenAI library, and also we have configuration, user secrets, and hosting. And this is another thing is wherever we are using uh, console.writeline, nowhere in this program we use system.console, because that's a new thing which you can add wherever you want to use any of the class as a static. So we can mention it item group using system.console static. So here I can use write line methods, as if you can see that technically it is going and hitting system.console.write line, but nowhere we are explicitly specifying that console dot. Here you see this foreground, but foreground is again from the console.foreground. So instead of mentioning console.foreground and console.write line, we are doing this way. Okay. And another important thing is how are we reading this. So we are reading, there are multiple ways. This is one of the way, like you're building the configuration builder, and we are saying that load the app settings file and also load the user secrets. If you focus on this particular thing, the one of the element inside this property group is user secrets id. So that user secrets id is specified over here, and that means this is outside my source control. So even though I keep any secret, it will be stored there. So at this point of time, in the app settings, I have only these items, but the real key is available in the secrets.json. So better to use secrets.json. That's one thing. The second thing is, once I build this configuration object will have everything. So at this point of time, anyways, I exposed my key. I'm going to delete it. I can show this key. I flash it for a few more seconds. See, now if you see this configuration object, you can see this, the providers for this is, it is coming in from a JSON file appsettings.json as well as the secrets.json. But if you use that from any of the APIs, minimal API, or those kind of minimal API or MVC projects and controller API. So at that time, you will be having these configuration from 7 to 9 different items. If time permits, I will show you that one also. So here you can see that we are using the OpenAI client, passing it to it, the OpenAI endpoint and the deployment name, and we are using the uh, prompt over here. And this object is little bit different from rest of the things. Just you have to be little careful over there. And almost you see that parameters echo in the previous example was in lowercase. Here the JSON object, but here it is the completion options. Whatever these things are, the prompt parameters inside that object which we are sending in the Postman, these are in the snake case. That means lowercase word underscore lowercase word. It's how the Python we define def, the function name, like add underscore numbers. The entire word add underscore numbers, add and numbers both will be completely lowercase, and underscore in between those words. So snake case. And here in C sharp, you will see that in an uh, Pascal case. Okay, so here also in the Python you are seeing the snake case. So if it is a one word, all lowercase. If it is multiple words, at least I used only two words. I'm calling the two words. It will be lowercase word underscore lowercase. So the Pascal, sorry, snake case. Okay, so another thing is we'll debug over here. to understand how the response will be. Okay, so it's making a call, and this is the response. You see this completion response. I'll flash it in the quick watch, and I flashed it in the quick watch. You can see that you have the get raw response, and you see the content stream, and the content is here, and the content stream, and you can see the headers which are being written, and is error, reason, phrase, and status. And another thing here, if you see the value, there are choices. So inside that value, you have choices. Inside the choice, the zeroth, the first one is our response. You can see that and compare this. You see that finished reason and everything which is coming in here. You see this choices, and choices is an array, and the first item is the response. So you can see that the choices, and the first item in the array is this one, where you are getting the finished reason and text. So technically it is choices of 0 of text. So that's what you will be seeing that in the response when we are calculating here. Completion choices of 0th element of text. So that's what we are technically seeing it here. Okay. And then we are traversing the text, and once we are done. So it's giving this entire response. So if you want in JSON format, we can add the JSON format, and still have 2 minutes. I'll send, and then we will go ahead with the queries. What is that I want to show you is the mini project which we will be doing, and this is just a initial cut. I'm working on it, but this will be modified. So you'll have Python minimal API in .NET 7 or 8, Blazor, and React or Angular 16 or React 18. There'll be another UI. This is doing two different things, becoming a it's Python Flask API. It's talking to OpenAPI as well as talking to the SQL. So I'm going to offload this. This I will bring it over here so that the Blazor server speaks to Flask API, get the data, and give it to API to push it. So this guy doing two different jobs is a little bit. So this is the uh, project which we will be doing. So the next session will be purely, again we'll coming back. We did something on the AI Studio, and then we came and did the same thing in 5 different ways, with Studio, with Postman, with Python notebook, with Python file, with C Sharp. And then we'll again come back and learn few other techniques in prompt engineering. Then we'll jump into that mini project, which will go for 3 episodes. Are we calling chat gpt 4 models, or no, chat gpt 4 I don't have access to that. It's the lower one, Pranav. Yeah. Is it Elias? What is your query? If you could you please expand how to optimize cognitive search related? Oh yes, that is open source. This is my main GitHub, Cloud Digit. This is my main GitHub, and this is the the speaker series. The speaker series has got multiple things. You can jump in and take a look at that. and I'll speak with different communities. So MS Learn, .NET Live shows, and different things are there. Just, and specifically, if you want Azure OpenAI, please get into this Azure OpenAI. Okay. And another thing is, Ilyas, we have to discuss. I have it. We have 9 minutes time, a lot of time to discuss. Just I'll give, just check this, this one. It's purely on the microservice. So anything you want to join, uh, okay, okay. So you're saying, just like give me a little bit more context on that. You're saying that how to optimize cognitive search related unstructured document type to retrieve data to GPT model. Are you saying that you want to send the data from unstructured into the GPT model? Can't see my GitHub link. I pasted it twice. Now, okay. Let's come back to this GPT here. See, Ilyas, are you there? I don't know how to pronounce your name. ULAS. Are you there? I just want to understand your query properly before answering. You can't see the links? Anyone else seeing the links? Cloud digit? Are you able to see the links which I'm pasting it?
Swami, you can share the links with me in the backstage
Yeah.
and then I can share it with the audience.
Right, right. I will share there. I will share. See, I don't want to give some answer just that someone, Ilyas, you asked it, I'm answering it. I just want to understand it properly. What is that you're asking? Okay. So if you cognitive search related unstructured document type to retrieve data to GPT model. I'm really trying to understand this query. So is it that you're trying to train the model? I'm really not sure. Just if you're still online, just let me know. I'll try to answer. If I don't know, I will. How to fine tune a model is, Pranav. How to fine tune a model is, see, you will train the model with the data and then try testing it. Like you have a model divided into 80/20. 80 you train, 20 you test it, and if it is working fine, then you will push that to the inference live model. And again, if people complain it, you'll bring it back and test it with more data. That's the continuous evaluation. Like if you see here also in this one, yeah, here, if you see that the models here, and these are also, if you see that text embedding and text davinci 2, text davinci 3. Okay. And also when you come to this one also, you see that training data up to October 2029. and some of the things are further, it is coming up to September 2021, and that depends upon what is the expected out the expected results and how the model is performing. Based on that, you can go and retrain it. So here we have some of the options which I never explored myself, but we do definitely have a option here: upload training and validation data set for for customizing your models. So if that is your answer, this is the way. Okay, because I was thinking that it's some other scenario. I just wanted to understand. If you have some other query, you can post it in my Twitter. I'll see if I can answer. If I don't know the answer, I will go learn and I'll come back to you. Anything else? Anything else? I'll give the URLs to Rashmita. Let me copy all the URLs in a notepad and post it in the backstage. I will. That's the speaker series. These are the URLs. Okay, cool. Any other queries, folks? If we don't have any other queries, I think we can close this bridge and see you guys in the next session. Okay, cool. I think, Rashmita, we do not have any
Mhm.
queries.
Yeah, sure. And I think
Back to you.
I mean, yes, yes. Thank you, Swami, so much. And in case if you have more questions coming up, you can always feel free to reach out to Swami later. And yeah, I mean, let me quickly also share the links. Yep. Thank you, Swami, and thank you all for joining us today. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Night, folks.